What's up?
Pizza bagels, pizza bagels,
Pizza bagels.
pizza bagel time.
What's up?
Yo, how's it going, bud?
Pretty good, man. How are you?
Good.
Back at it again.
Yeah, I know we're back at it.
Hell yeah.
As always, a pleasure.
Indeed.
I guess the last time I saw you was
Trying to think.
yesterday.
It was yesterday. Yep. We did hang out yesterday,
Yep.
which was fun. We got to go see our friend Dan, which was also fun. And we were celebrating yesterday. In case anybody didn't listen to the last episode, we were celebrating a monumentous occasion for us.
The episode was uploaded this morning. It was basically about the Florida Loofah parties and Uber rides. So
Correct.
That's the one to look for. That was
Definitely.
uploaded this morning as of Monday the 16th. Yes.
Correct.
And so go ahead. For the people that haven't listened to it yet, if they're listening to this one and skipping an episode, well, it's kind of a dick move. But
Totally a dick
sometimes
move.
people listen to the newest episodes first.
Yeah,
So,
I guess.
but why don't you go ahead and tell them what's up, bud?
Yeah, so, we are getting kind of hip with the times here, and it's official. Pizza Bagels has its own fucking hotline. We have our own phone number where you can call in. You can drunkenly leave us text messages. You can text us. You can leave voicemails. You know, it's all up to the times for you to call in. So lots of great reasons. Text us and tell us your opinions on what we're talking about. We're going to be taking polls and stuff like that.
Yeah, each week.
Let us know what you think of the show. Ask us if you want a shout out, or maybe even get yourself a guest spot if you want to come hang out with us.
Yeah, or suggestions. You're like, hey, have you guys ever talked about this? Or what are your thoughts on this?
Exactly.
And we can discuss it. And, if you want to be anonymous, you can. If you want me to just
Sure.
throw out your name, then that's cool, too.
Yeah, and if you want to take hard stances on those, really hard-hitting issues that we talk about, like is it gross to drink milk with your spaghetti, then, feel free to weigh in, because I don't know about you, but I got a go fuck yourself text message about that episode regarding milk and spaghetti. So, yeah.
Oh, did you really?
I really did, yeah.
Did you want to discuss
Oh,
it?
I mean, sure. I mean, we can talk about that real quick. Yeah, that was a shout-out to Jocelyn.
I
who,
had
of
my
course,
of
course,
my
it was
suspicions.
fucking Jocelyn, of course, because who else is going to get that, involved about something, to be strictly for being Italian? So, shocker, Jocelyn being Italian took offense to the whole spaghetti and milk situation.
But I like it.
Yeah, but you're a disgusting person.
Apparently a disgusting Italian.
Yeah, shame on you. But yeah, I did. It was very funny because I just got a text message all in caps that said "fuck you, Dave Cohn," and I was like, "Can I have a little context?" And she was like,
For what?
Yeah, she's like, "Sorry, I'm listening to the podcast right now," and I was like, well, "Then off you go. That's fine. Like that's acceptable." I thought maybe it was like on a personal level, and I'm like, I didn't even drink that much the day before, so I'm like, I couldn't have like texted you anything that offensive where you're like, go fuck yourself the next day. So it was a little bit of a surprise. But then when she said it was pizza bagel related, I was quite elated about it.
Of course.
So we're gonna love it. Feel free to text us, whatever. Yeah, like I said, we'll be asking questions, asking for input, and we're down to listen to whatever.
Yeah. So the number, guys, is 440-363-0121.
Pizza Bagel Hotline.
Pizza Bagel Hotline.
Fuck yeah, dude.
I think it does show when you're opening up apps like
Spotify. Yep.
Apple Podcasts. It should show it with our info. But if not, jot that down, save it down in your phones. 440-363-0121.
Hell yeah.
So that being said,
Yeah.
I have a very fun episode today.
Yeah, we're gonna take advantage of this hotline, and we're gonna put it to task right away.
Yep. So we are having a special guest on today. And I've only told the bagel a small amount, so he's only got a brief idea it is. And
Yes.
I'm going to give you guys kind of the same briefing. Basically, I was fucking around on Reddit, and I found this guy who was on To Catch a Predator.
Nice.
Yeah, guys, To Catch a Predator.
Oh my God.
I got one. I caught a predator.
We caught that. That's going to be the name of this episode. we caught a predator.
We caught a predator.
Yeah.
And here's the deal. I just happened to stumble across, I don't remember which page I was on, but he was telling the story.
You're like, I was looking for like my Bible group,
Yeah.
but strangely ended up in this subreddit with this guy who was is actually a predator.
Right.
Yeah. All right, go on.
And the deal is, the episode didn't get aired, and there's a special situation.
Yeah.
Which I'm gonna let him explain. So we're going to call the guy, and let him tell the story of what happens, because it's very interesting.
Yeah.
None I've ever heard before.
I'm super excited. I've never spoken to this person before, so I'm super excited to hear what exactly is going on.
And I've only like texted this guy. We obviously had exchanged numbers because I messaged him. I was like, hey, this is a crazy story. I have a podcast.
Yeah, let's
you
get
want
it
to
out
come
there.
on and like talk about it? And he's like, well, he was like a little sketchy at first, which he should be.
Yeah, good.
He's like, all right, well, what's your podcast? And I sent him the link, and then it seemed like I had to listen to an episode, so he seemed to enjoy it. So I'm like, what are your thoughts, dude? You cool with this? And he was like, completely on board.
Good. I'm glad that we're hitting the, getting positive reactions from the sexual predator demographic that we're always trying to hit.
Right.
So that's really important to us.
Listen, we have to hit all angles.
It's
we
the
can't
truth.
just,
Yeah, we're not trying to make ourselves into this niche group that's only, like we're not getting into people who are deviants, because most of the stuff we talk about is like boners and farts. So I mean, if we're not hitting home with people who are perverts, we're kind of missing our own mark.
Right.
Yeah.
And so like I kind of got I got the majority of the story, kind of what he had put up there, but I'm asking him to kind of, go a little further into it.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe this is fake. Maybe this is some dude that's just wanted to like
try to get famous off on our coattails.
Or
what if he signs on and he's just like baba booey, and then hangs up the phone? We'll be like, God fucking damn it, we got Howard Stern.
Yeah. No, but like, I mean, he's the one just posted up. So like I stumbled across his fucking thing and like, and so who knows? He could be doing it for attention.
Sure.
It could be just for fun. Or maybe it's a true story. I don't know. Like,
I hope it's a true story, because there are better ways to get attention than to be like, I'm a sexual predator.
Yeah.
Want to know something interesting about me? I used to be a sexual predator.
Right. Well, I mean, when you hear it, so you're going into it thinking like that right now, but by the time you hear the end of it, your mind might change.
I like where you're like, are you saying she was asking for it?
Did you see what she was wearing?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, why was she using such disgusting language if she didn't want it? I'm really excited to see where this is going.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess if everyone's ready,
I'm fucking ready.
Bear with me here for a quick moment. We're using some new equipment.
And what's this guy's name?
I'm gonna let him to see if he wants to
that's fair.
do anything anonymously.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right.
And then we'll kind of go from there.
Okay.
So if you're ready,
what's the social security number? I'm just kidding. Yeah, this is great.
It ends in 69,
Yeah,
59. Those are the last four.
Yeah. This is awesome. Our first live interview.
Yeah. I mean, technically, Ma was our first one.
That's true.
On the fingering episode.
That's true.
I mean, it's Ma. We know her.
That was a shout out. Yeah. I mean, that was an interview. You're right.
Yeah, kind of.
You're right.
I mean,
we're
getting down to these questions and why she put me through that fucking punishment.
God,
and
if you guys, episode.
Yeah, and if you guys haven't listened or don't know what we're talking about, go back to episode 3.
Yeah, the fingering.
Yeah, the fingering.
That's
and then
a really good episode. It really is.
Lucky number 3. Okay, so I guess without any further ado,
let's give it a shot.
We're gonna give this dude a call. Are you nervous? You excited?
I'm excited.
I'm excited.
I'm excited. I'm really interested to see where this is going.
Me too. Okay, so let's give this a shot, and this should hopefully work.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Should be calling. I've never talked to this guy on the phone yet either.
Nice.
Okay, it's coming through.
Yeah.
Equipment's working.
Hello?
Hey, what's up, bud? This is Tony over at the Pizza Bagels podcast.
Hey, how's it going, Tony?
Hey, good. I have my co-host here, Dave.
Yo, what's up? It's the Bagel.
Yep.
What's up, man?
How's it going, bud?
Good. How are y'all?
Good.
We're doing great.
So I gave a quick briefing without telling really anything. I kind of mentioned that just found you on Reddit, and I just kind of saw your story. It was very unique, very exciting, and just kind of wanted to kind of, get it out there. Yeah, man, whenever you're ready, we're excited and ready for you to go on with the story. You can start from the beginning.
Yeah, and feel free to be as open or
course,
as, however much you want to divulge. Like, personally, I mean, we've never interacted
What's
before.
that in the background? Is he talking? I can barely hear him.
Oh, is that, you can barely hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you, Tony. I can't hear Dave.
Oh.
Okay. All right. This is weird. Hold on a second. Sorry, bud. We're working with some new equipment. We're trying to.
Oh, you're good.
Are you on are you on speaker or like you on your regular phone?
Yeah, let me take you off speaker, see if that's any better.
Okay.
Hello?
Hey. Okay. So you're actually coming a little clearer.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now, Dave.
Awesome.
Okay. All right. Cool. So yeah, I'm not sure if it's our settings or if it's the speaker thing. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but
You're
go on.
fine. Yeah, and I'm honored to share a bit of my testimony with y'all tonight. So I was a victim of the television show To Catch a Predator, and this was a very traumatic experience for me. It took a lot out of me to come and share that with the world, but I don't think enough of that has been done in today's society about these shows that we grew up watching.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, this is crazy. I mean, I've watched a ton of those episodes, and when I came across your story, I'm like, what the fuck?
Now, I know what everyone's thinking. 9 out of 10 times someone's on To Catch a Predator, they probably deserved it, right? Whether the legality behind it, entrapment or, things of that nature, they probably shouldn't have been doing what they were doing. And I get that,
sure.
But these shows aren't victimless. And I was actually innocent.
Okay. So, yeah, tell us why. I mean, because I feel like every person comes on, they're like, oh, what are you doing here? And they're like, we're just going to hang out and play Nintendo or whatever, like Candyland.
Yeah, so we're excited to see how you said you were victimized. So walk us through, tell us what happened, what led up to you ending up on the show, and then how it transpired, how it affected you afterwards.
Okay, so I ended up on the show like everyone else ended up on the show. I was on the internet and I was, looking for some horseplay, if you will. And now this was in my early formative years of learning the internet. Today, I could probably pick one of these websites out of a lineup, right? But I wasn't as seasoned back then. See, the catch to this is, y'all, that I was actually 15 years old when I was on the program.
Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting.
Okay.
So what I did was I was surfing the web, doing my thing, and I'm looking for women. And I didn't know what I was doing. I clicked somewhere I shouldn't have clicked. The website, I can't for the life of me remember the chat room's name. It wasn't anything overtly predatory like, 11-year-olds whose parents have fallen asleep.com. It wasn't nothing like that. You know what I mean? But
right. I remember all those old chat rooms, though.
Right. It was definitely off the beaten path for sure. But I clicked it, better judgment got the best of me. I clicked it, and immediately, and there's plenty of red flags throughout the story, but immediately I get on there, I see looks like someone around my age, maybe a little older. I wouldn't, if she was 18, she wasn't past the senior year in high school. I mean, she had definitely been to prom before.
Okay.
So, I saw something I liked again, teenager at the time. I messaged her, hey, with the colon and the in parentheses. This was before emojis now.
Winky face, yeah.
So I messaged her, and the first, it's probably not the second or third red flag is she messaged back immediately, which, women, they like to take a few days, make you sit on the hot seat, make you wait a little bit. She messaged back almost simultaneously to receiving the message, and she said, hey, so I'm chatting her up a little bit. We have a decent back and forth, not the best back and forth, but I was making headway, and then she asked me how old I was. And so at first I was honest with her. I said, look, I'm 15 years old. And she said, oh, well, that sucks. I only like older guys.
Okay.
So I was placed in a position to actually say, well, lucky for you, I lied. I'm actually 20. I don't know. I just got nervous.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
But that should have also probably, if this was a legit girl that was like 17, 18, that should have already also raised a flag on her end too, being like, well, this kid says he's 15, but now he's 20.
Right.
Well, and in retrospect, for sure. But I just chalked it up to maybe she was nervous too. Maybe she was thirsty for attention. So when she went for the I was 20 play, things got a lot more aggressive and a lot more explicit in nature. She actually progressed to the non-platonic stuff that we were talking about, and it wasn't me. And me being, a 15-year-old, I'm going for anything at that point.
Oh yeah, of course. I'm sure your pants were swelling during that conversation.
Did she indicate how? I know you said she seemed like she was older, like she was like 18. Did she indicate how old she was representing herself to be?
She was supposed to be 14 years old.
14. Oh, okay.
Okay, so did she say that she was 14?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I'm sorry if I skipped that part. It was understood. I don't know at what part of the conversation that she said that she was 14, but it was understood by this point where things got explicit in nature that yes, she was 14.
Okay. And so you're 15, so you're like, this isn't weird. Like, this is the same thing I'd be flirting with a girl I went to school with.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. It wasn't weird for me. And I didn't even think of the fact that, I now committed to the lie that I was 20, but I didn't, I mean, that's apples to oranges. I just wanted, what I was after in the inbox anyway. I wasn't really looking that deep into it, right?
Sure.
Right.
So it turns out we get to talking, she invites me over to her house. She says, lucky for you, I live with my daddy. He's out of town, da-da-da, boom, boom, boom. Like, I want you to come over, and I want you to come over as soon as possible. So she sends me her address, and I look it up on the computer, and it's not that far away. It's actually it's not in the same town, but it's 25-minute drive.
Okay.
So I don't know about you guys, but I've driven longer.
Fuck yeah.
Oh,
dude.
yeah, absolutely.
25 minutes? Yeah. Yeah, I've eclipsed that, no doubt.
Right. I've done a lot way, and I'm not just overtly proud to say this, but I've done a lot worse for some women
Sure.
than what ended me up on the show To Catch a Predator.
Yeah.
So I get the address, and I'm 15. I don't have my own vehicle at the time, so I steal my cousin's vehicle. Now, in the Reddit post, I glazed over that part a little bit because I'm not what's important here. What's important is that this show gets called out for what it was, right? So, but I skimmed past that part. Yes, I stole a vehicle. That comes into play a little later.
Okay, so your cousin didn't know that you took his car?
No, I did it like a thief in the night.
Well, you were 15. You didn't have a license, right?
Oh, yeah. Good point.
You weren't old enough to drive.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and it wasn't exactly. Now, if things would have gone perfect, I think he wouldn't have known to this day because I'd done it before with his vehicle and his keys. But
we all boosted a family
this
member's
night,
vehicle when we were teenagers. I took my mom's car before I had a license. Like, I think we've all done that.
Right. It's just a part of growing up. That's how I see it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm nervous driving to her house. My whole drive over there. I don't know if it's the stolen vehicle or nervous about getting some play off this girl, but there's a gut feeling that something that the best thing on earth isn't about to happen. But I just chalked it up to nerves, and
Sure.
and I get
sense.
there and I'm sitting in the car. I'm sitting in the car for 3 to 4 minutes. Like, what am I doing here? Like, but then I psych myself up. I'm like, man, you just drove 25 minutes. Like, you're going to at least shoot your shot. You know what I mean?
For
Right.
sure.
So I work up the nerves. I give her a call. She answers legitimately in between the first and the second ring. So that's another red flag. She was waiting by the phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
She didn't even wait a few seconds to try to make it seem cool or make it seem like she might have been doing something else. And then you know how women get.
Mm-hmm.
She picked it up between the first or the second ring. And I didn't think nothing about it at the time. She answers the phone. I said, hey, baby, I'm out here. So she comes out on the front porch, and she's got a clothes basket. And she's like, okay, I see your car. Come on. Now I hop out my car. I'm walking at a good pace, not a really fast pace, but I'm not creeping to her house. It's a good pace I'm walking. Not enough to scare her off, but not enough to make it seem like I'm not excited.
Right.
I think it's a fair pace. It's a pace that I actually still use today. But I get about 12 feet from her.
Uh-huh.
I get about 12 feet from her, and she's got the clothes basket on her hip, and she's got a hoodie on and stuff. And she goes, okay, come on in. I just got to do a load of laundry real quick. And then she walks off and leaves her front door open. Now, I thought, wow, this is weird. You literally had all night to put these clothes in the washer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
But you wait till I arrive to put the clothes in the. It was weird to me, but
Hindsight.
of course, it didn't stop me.
Sure.
Yeah. You were already there. You already had your what you were going for.
Right.
Right. It was right in front of me. My mouth was watering, and I don't know how explicit I can be on your program, but
Oh, you
I
could
was
be
so horny I had tears in my eyes.
Oh, yeah.
There
You
you
can
go.
be as explicit as you want.
Yeah.
You could swear. You could say dick, fart, shit,
Yeah.
cunt, fuck.
We
Yeah,
say
whatever.
all kinds of shit.
Yeah. I mean, I was so horny my ears were ringing. Like, it had to happen.
Yeah.
I could barely breathe. So I'm fighting for my life, and I'm walking in, and it's a nice house. Probably, this was several years ago. Probably a $250,000 home, around the Nashville area. Good house, definitely bonus room over the garage. Now, I didn't get a tour, but I'm just, it was a good house in a good area.
Yeah.
So I walk in through the living room, and the lights are off in the living room. The lights are on in the kitchen, so I'm indicating maybe that's where she wants me to wait.
Sure.
So I walk in the kitchen, and out comes this man, and this is a big man, not the biggest man, but he's bigger than me, and he's dressed up really fancy.
Mm-hmm.
And there's an island with maybe like a bar set up, and I'm coming from one side of the room, and he's coming from the other, and and I don't know who he is at this point. I just know he's a grown man. He's dressed nice, and the first thing he didn't want to shake my hand. He didn't want to rap with me. He just wanted me to sit down. That was his goal, to get me to sit down.
So real quick,
and so I'm thinking,
did you bring anything with you? Did you have like beers you stole out of your parents' fridge, or snacks, or condoms, or anything like that?
Rubbers, yeah, because usually it's people with like a 4-pack of fucking wine coolers and a bag filled with banana flavored condoms.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I had some Thomas Jeffersons, which are the Rough Riders, the studded condoms. But other than those, I was pretty green to the whole, getting pussy thing.
Sure.
Besides those, I came pretty empty-handed. I definitely didn't have a party favor, if that's what you're asking.
Okay. Well, it sounds like it was for the better.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so I see him. I'm startled, right? I'm thinking, damn, she told me her dad was out of town.
Yeah.
But, I'm going to try to I'm going to try to win over the father at this point. It's the only play I had. Besides making a U-turn at that point, the only play I had was to try to win over the father.
Sure.
So
yeah.
I sit down. He wants to know if I'd like to enjoy one of the cookies, and he had a plate of cookies there. And, I'm not too good for anybody's cookie, so I take a bite of the cookie. And
what kind of cookie was it?
And this man, it was actually a mixed plate. There was some oatmeal raisin, which aren't my favorite, but I'm not and then the other half was chocolate chip. Now I'm not a go straight for the chocolate chip type guy. I'll dance around. I'll take a couple of bites of the oatmeal raisin, and then I'll circle back to what I'm really after, the chocolate chip.
Sure.
So
you dabble.
Yeah. I don't know if the chocolate chip was. I don't know if the chocolate chip was any good, but the oatmeal raisin, it's never the best. The best oatmeal raisin cookie in the world is not compared to one of the worst, chocolate chip. But it was an all right cookie. It wasn't fresh. It wasn't stale. Just an okay cookie. So he's talking to me. This man's talking to me, and I'm still not understanding what's going on. He's like, well, what are your plans here tonight with my daughter? And, me being young, a smart ass, I wanted to say, well, what do you think, dude?
Right.
But I didn't, I just said, I'm just here to, get to know her, have a little horseplay, mentor her, the normal things you hear on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, well, he grabs this folder from under his coat or wherever he had it. This is all very traumatic, maybe a little blurry. I don't know exactly where he pulled the folder from, but there's a folder, and it's a stack of papers, pretty thick, and allegedly it's what I'm saying to this girl in the chat room that this man had printed out. So when I said I came over just to hang out with her, he says, well, right here you said you wanted to, I don't really want to get too graphic with it, right? Because this is about two minors, but
right. Yeah, you don't have to go that far.
You can imagine what I said, know?
You guys were sexting. You're
and none of
teenagers that were sexting, and the guy said, hey, I have this thing. It was pretty explicit. Obviously, you're not here to just hang out and watch TV. You guys are here to fuck around, is basically what he's asking you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I'm telling her, all the sick little things I want to do to her, and he's reading it back to me verbatim. And it was, and by this point, if I wasn't uncomfortable before, I'm ready to jump out of my skin now. Oh my God, like this grown man, I'm 15 at the time. This grown man, I feel like, was sexy talking me.
Mm-hmm.
So now I don't know if he wants to fuck me or what's going on at this point. Like, if that was the old bait and switch technique that she used, I don't know.
Yeah, I actually just invited you over so my dad can fuck you.
And she's just gone now, right? Like, she went into the laundry room and you have not seen her since.
Dude, the bitch didn't even like check if I was okay. She literally left me out on the island.
Right.
Like, yeah. So I'm out there and I'm fucking, I'm doing mental gymnastics with her father. I don't know what his motive is. I don't know if he wants to, I don't know if he wants to, give me a stern talking to or have sex with me or watch me have sex with her. I don't know.
Right.
So eventually I'm sick of the back and forth between them, me and him, and the conversation's getting a little stale. And of course I'm not going to let him fuck. I just met him. So I tell him, hey, I say, hey man, I'm going to go. And he's like, no, why don't you just talk a little longer? And I'm like, no, I'm going to go. And I get up to walk out of the front door.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get up, I push my chair in, I'm not a complete animal. I push the chair back under the bar, and I go to walk out. I turn around, and he says, hey, well, when you leave, go out this door. And he points to what I'm assuming is the garage door.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, no, you're not my dad. I don't got to listen to you.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out the door I came in.
Yep.
Like, fuck you, dude. Like, you just ruined my whole night.
Yeah, I was about to get laid, dude.
Yeah, I was going to get pussy,
block.
not have a fucking cookie with an old person.
Right. I mean, he was a real buzzkill. So I walk out the front door, and, I'm bummed. My pace that I'd mentioned earlier, this was a way more relaxed, like a more defeated. My shoulders were arched forward. This wasn't the confident gait I had going inside.
Mm-hmm.
But so I'm slow walking to the, I'm kicking I'm kicking the grass like fuck, like I just fumbled that one, and then all I hear is freeze.
Oh, sorry, never mind. Go ahead. I was just gonna ask if
okay,
if you tried texting and be like, hey, I'm getting the fuck out of here. Your dad's being weird.
I mean, I don't know how if you don't mind my asking, how long ago did this happen? Like, what year are we talking about? He doesn't have to be
I'm talking
specific.
about 2000. It was the era where definitely cell phones were around. Now it wasn't the smartphones we had today.
Sure.
I had called her, but I had called her upon my arrival, so I don't remember even crossing my mind to shoot her a text at this point. Like, yo, get your man's out of here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
all right, so
because I figured.
Go on.
Go ahead.
I know. Go ahead. You said you figured what?
I had figured that she might have been maybe she thought that if I didn't tell, well, I don't know what I was thinking really, but maybe I figured maybe she lied about the father being there because she thought I didn't want to meet him, or I don't, what, I'm just not thinking the worst. I'm just thinking, this girl is nuts.
Yeah.
So I'm not even planning on ever reaching out again.
Yeah, fair enough. So, sorry, let's get back to your story. So, you're feeling defeated coming out of the house, you're heading back to the car, and then what?
Well, then I hear, freeze, so-and-so PD. And I'm like, what? And then I get manhandled by these officers who, if I'm being quite frank about it, I mean, they didn't need as many. They didn't have to be so rough on me.
Sure.
They touched me places that probably deserved a spot on the show. I mean, when I say they manhandled me.
Yeah.
Touching you in spots that you wish that she was doing.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm like, whoa, like take it easy, man. Like you got the wrong guy, and so they beat me up pretty good. You know how they get.
Yeah.
They beat me up pretty good. Not like where I'm just mangled, but I knew they was there.
Mm-hmm.
So I get in the car. Well, they drag me to the car, and they're talking crazy to me the whole way down to the station. I'm like, look, y'all are about to look really stupid. They figure out about the stolen vehicle. I get to the interrogation room. Now I'm 15. I don't have prints. I don't have an ID.
Right.
So
yeah,
it was a while. Right. So it was a while before they realized, and I don't remember the exact turn of events until they realized exactly how old I was. I don't know if I gave them my address, my parents. I can't remember. This is all very traumatic again, but eventually they figured out that I was too a child. But
Oh my God.
because of the car, I still had to go to jail or juvenile.
Yeah, to juvie, yeah, for the stolen vehicle.
Well, I mean, just a quick question about that. I'm sorry to sidetrack, but you said that was your cousin's vehicle, right? So, did the cousin press charges, or were you just getting arrested for driving without a license?
It got dropped at a later date.
Yeah,
I settled it in-house with my cousin, but they still had the charges at first. There was still a preliminary court date that was set off sometime in the near future. Now, in the juvenile system, there's no bond system. At least where I'm from, there's no bond system or anything, and you don't usually have to sit into your court date unless you've just done something terrible. So I was out maybe the next night, maybe 2 nights. I was already out of juvenile.
Okay. So, I mean, I guess that's not that bad.
And,
I mean, I'm sure it sucks. Like, you can't sleep in your own bed. Like, you're in kids' jail.
Yeah.
Well, juvenile is actually worse than county jail, and it's worse than the penitentiary. Juvenile, because juvenile, you're segregated. So,
like on purpose?
In this, yeah. Well, juvenile that I was at, and unless you catch big boy charges, this is the only juvenile that you're gonna that's on something like I did that you're gonna go to, where you're in a cell by yourself until they let you out for a shower, and then after you shower, you go right back to the cell, and they bring your trays to the door, and there's no human. I mean, juvenile's tough.
So it's more like a solitude.
Yeah, it's like that's like maximum security stuff or solitary confinement type stuff.
You basically got the hole for a couple days.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and the lights are on wide open, and the books are like Junie B. Jones, and not a great selection of books in juvenile. The Bible isn't like the King James; it's like the trailer park version. It's like it's hard time in juvenile. But yeah, on that scenario. I wasn't there very long, and I wish I'd have maybe pursued a lawsuit. Right? My mind wasn't, but my people were so concerned about stealing the car, they didn't realize that I was just, I hate to be too liberal in my speech, but I was the one raped, and I was raped by Chris Hansen and the police in that program.
Mm-hmm. Did they apologize for treating you like an adult when you were just a kid? Sorry, we fucked up.
When I say I didn't hear a peep out of them after,
which that sounds about right.
Wow. What's crazy is what I remember about that show is that when Chris Hansen would come out, he'd be like, "Hey, this is a 14-year-old girl that we're talking about here. You knew that she was 14, right?" And then I would have assumed that at that point, had he said that, you of course would be like, "Well, what the fuck? I'm 15," and they'd be like, "All right, cut." Obviously this is fucked until we research it a little bit.
Right.
But it's shocking to me that they didn't actually investigate that.
Oh, I tried.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well, because when he asked, when he said, "Do you know that this is a 14-year-old girl?" I said, "Well, yeah." And that if he wasn't mad before, he was irate after that.
Hey, you just forgot to mention but I'm actually 15.
Yeah, I'm also pretty much 14.
I just turned 15 2 weeks ago.
And every time I tried, and I kept trying to tell him, but I'm telling you, every rebuttal that I halfway got out of my mouth, he would overpower me with his grown man, presence and voice, and he would revert back to what I was saying in the transcript. He didn't give me a chance to tell my side, and to this day, I don't think he really wanted to hear it.
Wow.
Can you imagine too?
Can you imagine?
Yeah, I mean, of course they'd have to fucking drop everything. I mean, was there a lawsuit that would be?
Yeah, I mean, was there any stigma for you after that? Did people in town know you as the person who was going to be on To Catch a Predator? Did that follow you?
Well, obviously it didn't air, and when your family talks to other family and friends on the phone, the first conversation that they're not running towards is, my child was on To Catch a Predator. So it didn't it didn't get big, and of course I wasn't telling war stories about it. It took me a long time to talk about. And when I typed it in on Reddit, man, it was hard to do that. And honestly, it was kind of hard to share it out loud with y'all on this program.
I'm sure.
Yeah, and I can imagine that you wouldn't want to be going around telling your friends.
Right.
I mean, that's just it would probably be shitty for you. I mean, just even think about the kids that are hooking up with their teachers, and then they tell their friend, and they tell that friend.
Right.
It spreads like wildfire.
And that's why I was asking the question about the stigma. Of course, this isn't something you want to advertise. It certainly isn't something your family wants to advertise, but specifically when you said, talking about the distance where you had to drive and you were like, "Oh, we don't live in exactly the same town." When you didn't say something like we don't live in the same city. It makes me think that it's more of a like rural type of a like small community type of an area that you were talking about, and in those places, bad gas travels fast, as they say, right?
Yeah,
like,
everyone knows
when
everyone.
that shit happens, when anything happens, everybody fucking knows.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
Right.
that's crazy. So no apology,
Yeah, and
no
what that
follow up
did-
whatsoever. That's nuts too.
I mean, when I say I didn't even get like a postcard, an email, I mean, I didn't even get a kiss before, during, or after Chris Hansen fucked me. I
They
mean,
didn't
it was
message
the
you
most
through the chat room
brutal
either?
thing I've had to endure.
Wow.
What?
I said they didn't even try to message you through the chat room either?
Dude, and no, and and years later, I may or may not have circled back to the chat room and said, "Hey, baby, you want to try this again?" You know what I mean? But
Right.
but
Smart.
I mean, you know how it gets when you're desperate and you're a guy, and because for
Especially at that
men,
age.
okay, women could walk out on their front porch, pull their pants down, and yell "fuck me," and eventually they would have sex. See, men, we can't just do that, So we might revert to things that in our natural state with a softer dick we might not do.
Well put.
Yeah, I mean, especially at that age too, man. I mean, I remember being a teenager, like I was trying to fucking jerk off on everything,
Yeah,
or
for
into
sure.
everything, or
Yeah.
whatever I possibly could.
Rub your dick on everything.
Oh,
Yeah,
For sure. What's interesting, and I'm
I mean,
thinking
the
about
level-
this because I don't know if you know this about me, probably not, since it's the first time we've ever spoken, but I like to pretend that I'm a lawyer a lot of the time, and I'm curious. You said I should have sued them. Did you ever pursue that? Did you ever consider, I would imagine you could even do it now. Like you could say that this has fucked me up for so long, and this is what happened, and I was never, there was never any take back from the show, and it fucked me up forever after that.
And I'm glad you've asked that. The short form of that answer is no. But what that show did for me is it sent me down. I don't want to say that's the sole blame, but it sent me through a life of crime. It sent me through a life of incarceration, drug addiction. And today, many years later, I can say the Lord has blessed me, and in ways beyond comprehension. And I think I was almost meant to go through that to live and share my testimony with others. So beyond Chris Hansen being a dickhead, and I mean that with all my heart, he's a piece of shit individual. I hold no ill will towards that show, because without that traumatic event, I might not be where I am today, in a position to help others who might have struggled with, things similar to nature, not the exact same thing, but just youth that are going down that path. I now live from a perspective where I can show empathy instead of sympathy towards them, so I wouldn't change a thing.
That's a great outlook.
yeah, that's fantastic, actually. I mean, and it's good that you're not. I mean, yes, Chris Hansen was a dick, but you got to also look at his side. That in this case, 9 out of 10 dudes that were showing up to this house were in fact adults that were trying to prey on 14-year-old girls.
Right.
And some would say they were entrapped by law enforcement.
No, yeah,
I mean, that's a valid point there.
yeah, but at the
do those
same
people
time,
need to be in jail? Yes.
yeah, but at the same time, I mean, you can't say fucking entrap, man. I mean, you're the one you're purposely hanging out in chat rooms with young girls, trying to find a young girl to fucking finger
Now,
bang.
We're talking about hypothetically if this is
Okay.
an adult, right? That's what
yeah,
you're
yeah,
talking-
hypothetically, yeah.
So,
like these people that
absolutely.
are, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what the run-of-the-mill person on that show is, right? This is an older person who is representing themselves as a younger person to get with a younger person, which is vile, right? It's disgusting and illegal. And so, yeah, the show's not wrong for pursuing that avenue at all when that's what's going on. And this is, by the way, in no defense of people who are adults that are doing that, but I mean, let's be honest, right? Like, I went into chat rooms when I was a young teenager and represented myself as being much older when I was like sexting people on fucking Cleveland Freenet before they even had like AOL and shit like that.
Yeah.
And then the same thing on AOL when that was becoming commonplace, where people would be in chat rooms all the time and it was like, hey, want a cyber? And yeah, let's be honest again. I mean, I was like 14 years old. And I'm sure the quote-unquote 16-year-old girl I was talking to was like a 53-year-old man, now that I know how the fucking internet works. Yeah. But, you know, I mean, that's all what we would do, right? We were lying about where we live and how much money we make and how old we are and how big our dicks are and, you know, all kinds of stuff.
Hell, I'm still doing that today.
Exactly.
Hopefully it's working out for you better now.
And to play a little bit of devil's advocate, and I'm not, again, just devil's advocate, right? What if, wow, I got to be real touch and go about how I phrase this, but okay, a police officer can't just come up to you with a quarter bird of some fentanyl and say, hey, I got the best prices in town, come fuck with me, and then you buy it from them, and they can't arrest you right there. So what the show was doing was actually textbook entrapment.
Well, kind of. I mean, what you're saying is pretty correct, but like they could also, I mean, a police officer could be on the internet and say, hey, if you want to meet me on, 55th and Woodland at midnight, I'll be there with a bag of fentanyl. And if you show up and they're like, hey, what are you looking for? And you're like, hey, I'm here for my fentanyl. Then they're going to say, hi, I'm a cop and you're under arrest. Mm-hmm. Even though they planted the idea, they haven't done anything. That's not technically entrapment.
You felt.
So
like
what is entrapment then? If I might be confused as to what entrapment is. If that's not entrapment, then what would be a better example?
Let's get an actual definition here.
Are you going to pull it up and see what the Google definition of entrapment is?
Tricking someone into committing a crime in order to secure their prosecution. So that is a pretty... that's painting with really broad strokes, right? Because we all know that cops can do that, right? They
can do whatever they want.
Can do that, and do all the time. I mean, that's something that happens. That's very commonplace. Like it's like that lie all the time when you see it on television when somebody will be like, "Hey, are you a cop?" Because if you're a cop, you have to tell me you're a cop.
And then they're like, just going to bring up the same joke.
Yeah, and then they're like, yeah, I'm not a cop, and then 5 minutes later you get arrested by that person. Like they can absolutely say I'm not a cop, and then they indeed are a cop. So yeah, I don't know exactly where the lines are drawn.
One time, later on in life, I was actually serving an undercover cop, and I thought I had it, a foolproof plan where I made him whatever drug I was selling, doesn't matter. I made him hit a little bit of it before I sold it to him, right?
Yeah.
He still arrested me. I said, what the fuck was that, man? He said, I'm a cop and I get high too.
I don't think they can do that.
Fuck, dude?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's entrapment, by the way.
But he's like, fuck it, I'm gonna arrest this dude either way, so I'm just gonna get high off of it as well. But I mean, like, are they allowed to like play along to a certain point?
They are to a point, but like they could be like they can't do drugs with you. Like that draws the line for entrapment, right? They can't do that. That's why when you see on television like prostitutes, when they do those like prostitution stings and stuff like that, like the prostitutes will be like, show me your dick to the cop. And then if the cop actually pulls his dick out, he has now committed a crime. Because he has. That crime it's indecency, and that is a crime. So if the officer actually commits a crime in order to get you to commit a crime, that is definition entrapment.
And it's probably washed at that point.
Absolutely, yeah. That's why I can't believe that an officer was able to do drugs. Like if you have them do drugs first, then they're committing a crime by taking an illicit substance. And then they can't bust you for doing the same thing.
I mean,
here's the problem. Here's the problem with the justice system, right? I probably could have beat those charges on the grounds of entrapment, but the justice system is I don't want to say it's broken because this was exactly what it was designed to do, but the justice system is so corrupt that you're not going to go to trial. 98% of the time, you're not going to go to trial, even if you are innocent. You're going to plea out to, and let's say your max is 20 years. If you go to trial and lose, they're going to flip you for 20 years. Right. If you just plea out to 4, you're not going to take that. So you're going to do your 4 and come home.
And you're not even
no matter if
4.
You think you got them beat.
Yeah, if you sign up for 4, you'll do a year and 8 months unless it's overcrowded, and then they'll send you home after like a year. So yeah, that sounds way better than going away for 20 years, and people don't want to take that, right? Because then you have to. They don't want to. I mean, they do want to take the deal. They don't want to take the chance because holy shit, 20 years of your fucking life in the joint is nuts when it's compared to 20 months.
Yeah, I mean and I don't want to spread my political morality too much, but man, the justice system is probably with the Biden administration, immigration, it's got some rivals, but it's probably the most corrupt institution in the country.
Wow. So, what are you thinking? Trump's going to be our next president, yeah?
I sure hope so.
Jeez.
I sure hope so. It can't be Joe Biden, a half dead guy running around. What do they have him on to keep him? Do they have a chip in his brain? Seriously, what is it with that guy? He doesn't even have the energy to smell those children's heads anymore when he hugs them.
That's how he gets his energy. From taking those deep breaths off of those toddlers' top of their heads,
like sucking some of the soul out of them.
Yeah, or like that episode of South Park where it was about stem cells, and they had Christopher Reeves on there, and he just kept on taking like aborted fetuses, and he would crack their necks open and suck all the juice out of them, and then eventually he could walk. Yeah, that's like basically what Joe Biden's doing right now. Hell yeah, brother.
And what type of father is he? If he can't run his household. So you were in D.C. for 40 years, and your son's running around smoking crack with prostitutes, going to China, collecting money, not passing go. What kind of father? If you can't run your household, what makes these people think he can run his country?
Come on, we've all done crack with prostitutes and collected money from China once or twice.
Right, but if I was in the situation of Hunter Biden, if I had the opportunities he had, maybe I wouldn't have smoked crack with those prostitutes. Maybe once or twice. It is a part of growing up, right? But I wouldn't have made a hobby out of it, and I wouldn't have filmed myself doing it.
Well, listen, the amazing ending to this story is that you have this great outlook as a result of it. You said, and that's upsetting, and that's horrible that you had to go through this, obviously traumatizing thing when you're, like you said, in your formative years, when you're a teenager. That's got to be crazy, and it's got to give you a really horrific outlook on things like law enforcement and stuff like that, right? Make you jaded about it. You said that you've been incarcerated since then. Not all the time since then, but you've been incarcerated since that has happened and stuff like that. But you seem to have a really positive outlook about what the experience was for you and how it's shaping the way that you look at the world.
Yeah, it was, and this is coming from many years of wrestling with the idea. Yes, that's the only way I can look at it. I want to say it's because I'm just such great person who, fights his battles and then learns from his losses and go on and on. But the sad reality of it is, I have to see it this way or it would destroy me.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But good for you. Listen, a lot of people would have gone the other way, right? A lot of people would be like...
A lot of people do.
Right.
A lot of people do. And obviously, you're calling us now, so you're not incarcerated now, which is great. The recidivism rate in the United States is like 80-something%.
Yeah,
people that go to jail go back to jail.
Yeah, I also wouldn't be paying for that bill to call you. You're using your own money cards.
Yeah. But man, good, really, honestly, after such a traumatic experience and what a crazy way for things to play out. You're just a fucking stupid 15-year-old.
Yeah.
Like we all were when we were 15.
You just happened to be in a unique fucking situation.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Right.
Fucking imagine.
Right. Well, hey, thanks you guys for having me on.
Hey,
I gotta go pick up my son. Hey, real quick, if y'all don't mind to plug my socials in the description, man, maybe someone can reach out that I could help. That would be awesome for me. Thank y'all. Have a great night. I'm going to hit y'all up later.
Hey, listen real quick. If you want to go ahead and announce them, say them right now. I don't know whatever your handles are, Instagram, TikTok, whatever you got. Dump them out right now.
My TikTok is DracoBig30, DRACOBIG30. My Instagram is Draco, DRACO, with 4 O's, 30. And, that's the only two I'm going to push right now on this platform. Hey, thank y'all so much, man. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Dude, thank you so much for coming on. This is a fantastic thing to discuss.
Yeah, for sure. We appreciate it.
Hopefully.
All right, stay in touch, y'all. Bye.
All right, thanks, man.
Bye-bye.
Holy shit. Wow.
Told you, right?
Dude, we're typically a fucking dong and fart joke comedy. That got really real.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was saying. I'm like, like I said, I stumbled upon this and I was like, what the fuck?
There's no way that dude was making that up. That was 100% genuine story.
Right.
That was a normal concern, I think, right? To be like, oh my God, what if we get Baba Booeyed? Like, this could just be some guy who's just like, and was, misrepresented. He was like, oh shit, these people have a podcast and reached out to me. They must have real reach, and we don't yet.
No, we don't.
Yeah, it's not like what he was calling into Joe Rogan,
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, that's a crazy story, because I think about all the stupid, dumb things I did when I was 15, and
oh my God,
I easily would have been like, oh, I'm 15. And you'd be like, oh, that's a bummer, because I wish you were 18 like me. And I was like, just kidding, I'm 20. And they're like, oh, I'm so hot and horny right now. I'd be like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I bet you are. And I'm 20 and I'll be right there in my mom's car. You know what I mean? Like, fuck, I could have done that.
Oh yeah. I mean, if To Catch a Predator was out during the time we had the AOL chat rooms,
we all would have been on that
all
fucking
of
show.
us.
Yeah,
all of us. And they'd be like, fuck, you know what? This show's a terrible idea. All we're getting is 15-year-old kids that are just lying about being adults.
Yeah, if I have to see one more 15-year-old boner, like this is Chris Hansen talking. If I have to see one more 15-year-old boner, this is going to be the end of my fucking career. Holy shit.
It's fucking wild, right?
That is wild.
Yeah, dude, and it was a fucking Hail Mary that I'm like, I'm going to message him and just see what he says, you know, like. And I was like, hey, bud, this is a really crazy story. This is amazing that you just you came out with all this. I didn't ask him to see how old he is, but it seems like he's probably like late 20s, maybe early 30s.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Judging off his voice.
He's got to be 30s, right? Because he said, and I mean, I'm not trying to fucking deep dive into where this dude is from or, how old he is or whatever. But he said he was 15 and this was at the time that there weren't smartphones.
Cell phones, but not smartphones.
Right. So this has got to be, that was at least 15 years ago.
Yeah. So he's probably pretty close in age. He's probably not far off. So yeah, I guess you're probably right. 30s is probably a good guess.
But fuck, man, that is nuts. And you know what? Honestly, the most disturbing part of that whole story for me, what the fuck do you mean that there were chocolate chip cookies and you started with an oatmeal raisin? All right? There's an old dude in a suit, and you're like, I don't know if he's here to videotape me fucking his daughter or if he's going to try and fuck me or sex traffic me. You don't know when your last moment is, and you're just going to start oatmeal raisin.
Well, maybe he was trying to be unpredictable. He's
maybe he thought,
only Chris Hansen's
maybe that was Chris Hansen's test. He's like, good thing you took that, because if it was chocolate chip cookie, you were about to go to Pound Town.
Right. He's like, only child molesters start with a chocolate chip cookie.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it was just a test, and
that was him passing.
He didn't fall for it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which is why they didn't catch him. They didn't fucking arrest him right on the spot.
Yeah, if I was like, this old dude might fuck me, I think I'd eat every chocolate chip cookie on that plate, just to make sure.
Like, fuck, I might be going to jail.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
in the
all
next
these
3
cookies.
minutes, I'm eating every single. Yeah, and I would have knocked the oatmeal cookies on the floor and told that guy to go fuck himself.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like oatmeal.
Oh my god, this is a whole different episode, and
cookies.
I fucking hate you right now.
They're kind of delicious. Oatmeal raisins kind of delicious, dude.
Oh yeah, there's nothing I would like more when I'm thinking of a delicious dessert than to mix together oatmeal and raisins. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have, but somebody did, and guess what? They're kind of delicious.
No, they're not.
Listen, they are. Do you have a favorite cookie? You have a cookie?
Give us a text and tell Tony that he's a fucking idiot, okay? If anybody texts in and says that oatmeal raisin is their favorite cookie, I will buy a giant oatmeal raisin cookie and I will eat it on air and hate every moment of it.
Yeah, so 440-363-0121.
Yeah.
And listen, oatmeal raisin doesn't have to be your favorite cookie.
Did you hear what the dude said about oatmeal raisin cookies? Do you remember the tutelage he gave?
Yeah.
What did he say?
He said that he was going to go in for the chocolate chip, but decided to.
No. What did he say about oatmeal raisin cookies specifically? He said, and I quote almost verbatim, he said, the greatest oatmeal cookie in the world isn't on par with the worst chocolate chip cookie in the world. Say that. And you know what? That dude would know.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, he ate cookies in front of Chris Hansen. Have you eaten cookies in front of Chris Hansen? No. So that dude knows about fucking cookies, okay? Oatmeal raisin. Get the fuck out of here.
I don't even eat sweets that often. I can't even tell you the last time I had a cookie.
Yeah.
Listen.
I'm a white chocolate macadamia nut guy.
That's what my next question was going to be. Is like, what's like that? So that's that like your favorite?
Probably.
cookie?
I'm not really a cookie person myself either. I'm also not a sweets guy, but
Yeah, not a sweets guy.
yeah, I do. I mean, I like ice cream mostly if I'm going to do sweets, but I will. I'll eat cookies. I don't know if you all know me, but yeah, I'll eat a cookie. But yeah, white chocolate, macadamia nut, which is crazy because I think white chocolate is trash and for trash people. But
in cookie form, it's different.
Yeah, and maybe it's just the macadamia nuts that I really like. But yeah, I really like those. I'm also kind of a simpleton when it comes to sweets. Like I hate to say this, I love vanilla ice cream.
I mean,
I like sugar cookies.
Sure.
I'm pretty vanilla when it comes to my sweets. Not to be too on the nose about it. But.
I wish that I did eat more sweets, but I haven't had cake since I was 5.
I was thinking the other day that I wanted cake. I don't know why. I just wanted cake. But then I was like, what kind of cake would I like? And I couldn't think of a kind of cake I would like. Because I think cake is pretty gross.
Yeah, I was going to ask if, like, are you for, like, regular cake or, like, ice cream cake?
Oh,
which
my God.
technically
Ice cream
doesn't really
cake for
count
sure.
for
Yeah.
cake because it's just ice cream.
Yeah, it's
with
ice
some,
cream
like,
and the fudgy chocolate shit in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would do that for sure. Yeah. Wow, what a transition from catching a predator to favorite cookies.
Yeah.
Love it. And of course, that guy's a fucking trumper. God damn it. Why did I ask that question that I knew the fucking answer to?
Yeah, I was like, I
man.
really hope this doesn't come. There was going to be a quick second where I was about to cut this off.
But he, cut us off right at the right
and
time.
then he switched over. I'm like, all right, good move, bud.
Yeah. Yeah, when he started getting into the Hunter Biden stuff, I was like, fuck, we are specifically not a political show.
Yeah.
I mean, I love politics and hate it at the same time, but I'm happy to talk about it at any time other than when we're on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want people filling up our Pizza Bagel hotline with why I'm wrong about my politics and why they're right. You want to have that conversation? We'll do it like grown-ups after we're drunk and leave a bar. We'll do it on a sidewalk. We'll almost get into a fist fight, and then we'll both drunkenly drive to our respective homes.
Yeah.
Like gentlemen or ladies or whatever.
Yeah, we're about dick and farts.
Yeah.
Not. Damn, I was trying to think of something really funny to rhyme that with, but I got nothing.
Yeah, I'm going to write that. There was a really good joke there we both just missed.
Yeah.
Fuck. All right, we'll think about that for sure. But
We'll think about it and then have it for the next episode.
Absolutely. But man, thanks. Good catch on that predator.
Nice pun.
Thank you. Had to be said.
Yeah.
No, but I
intended.
mean, amazing. Like that was not the direction I thought that story would go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Man, wait, because you teed it up great when you were like, actually, he's the victim, and I'm like, good. Like, yeah, I can't wait to find out how you're gonna be how you're gonna get canceled, and this is gonna be the bagel show next week.
Bagel.
Yeah, that I have to record in
Dave
your
and Dave.
attic. Hey, pizza, I still got to use your upstairs. Can you set up the equipment? I don't really know how. But yeah, that was shocking. But I mean, amazing on that person for sharing that story. And again, I meant that genuinely when I said for having a good outlook after shitty stuff happens is such a great thing. You know?
Yeah.
That guy could have been like, fuck government, I'm going to literally burn it to the ground. And he just said, I'm going to pick up my son. So he obviously has made a life for himself after all of this, which is great and inspirational. You know, that guy went through something fucking horrible when he was 15. He went to juvie. He probably went to something after that for the car. And yeah, so good for him having a good outlook.
Mm-hmm.
Inspirational episode.
Yeah.
On the Pizza Bagel Show. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Not just dick and farts, people.
Yeah.
We'll be back to dick and farts next week, I'm sure. But
yeah.
To wash our palate off a little bit. But man, what a serious and great episode. What
Sometimes
a great interview.
we like to throw curveballs at you.
Yeah, that was an hour I would be listening to and not be able to turn off. Like I would have to hear how that story is going to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yes, he is the victim, but not villain victim.
Right.
He, in fact, was victim.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, Reddit's full of crazy people. So this was just a fucking diamond in the rough.
Yeah. So listen, hit us up on that on our hotline. Let us know what you think. Hit that dude up on his whatever he was plugging on his socials.
I think he did his TikTok and his Instagram.
Yeah, TikTok and IG. That's great. Hit him up and say, hey, heard you on the Pizza Bagels. Thanks for sharing. Appreciate your honesty. Whatever. Ask him questions. I think a big thing for that person that's being that open with something traumatic is that they want it to become something where they feel heard. So reach out to that person, send them a message, and let them know. That was really open and honest, and wow, good on that person for putting it out there.
Yeah, it was a really great sport. I was actually very surprised. I was like, I'm gonna shoot my shot, put it out there, and I was expecting to either no response or to be like, I don't know, man. Like, it's not really kind of what I'm going for.
Yeah.
But I talked with him a little bit. He wanted to check out the podcast. He seemed like he was interested. I don't know, I have no idea what episode he even listened to. So apparently he thought it was at least funny enough to come on.
Yeah.
But I was very shocked, very surprised, and super stoked.
Wow.
So
interesting.
Yeah.
All right. You want to plug out our phone number real quick one more time?
Yeah. 440-363-0121.
All right.
And the poll is going to be what was it about for the oatmeal cookies, right?
Yeah.
If you like oatmeal cookies or hate oatmeal cookies.
If anybody, text us with whatever is your favorite cookie, whatever your response is. But if anybody is legitimately saying oatmeal cookie is my favorite cookie, we'll get you a guest spot on the show for at least a few minutes on a phone interview so you can explain why the fuck you want to mix a disgusting health food hot breakfast cereal with a dried fruit as a dessert, because you're a fucking idiot and would love to talk to you.
Okay, well, that being said,
we are perfect once again.
Wow, we're getting really good at this,
I'm telling
dude.
you, 1 hour and 45 seconds.
Beautiful. All right, well, a shot in the way out. Yep. Salud, bub.
Cheerios.
And thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.